I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yeah.
As you may heard, I filed a few lawsuits and I'm in the court now because they accuse me of doing stuff that I never did in my life, and they wrote lies, and I will not allow that. I will fight till the end because I don't want that they damage my reputation and my name.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system, and doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said?
That's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sonny's dumb. Certainly not.
You know who has been bragging all over the campaign trail about how he's the one that overturned Roe v. Wade, but apparently his wife has different thoughts on the reproductive rights after posting this video plugging her memoir. Take a look.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
What's worth $200 million? Apparently, some very bold comments about Melania Trump on The View. The former First Lady has officially filed a lawsuit against the show, and the details will leave you speechless. Before we unpack this roller coaster of drama, do me a favor: like, share, and subscribe. Each subscription helps fund my caffeine obsession, and trust me, I need coffee to keep up with all this madness. Melania Trump, the famously private former First Lady, is back in the headlines, but not for her style or her Be Best campaign. This time, she's suing The View for a staggering $200 million, claiming that the hosts made defamatory statements about her live on air. The controversy began during a recent episode when the panelists discussed Melania's time in the White House. Their comments were anything but flattering. From questioning her happiness in her marriage to criticizing her Christmas decorations, the hosts didn't hold back. And let's not forget the infamous claim that Melania hates Christmas and allegedly can't even stand to be in the same house as her husband. Yikes. But why does this matter? Well, when a former First Lady files one of the biggest defamation lawsuits we've seen in years, people start paying attention.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sonny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
She can't tolerate him. She
I-
doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him.
I said to my husband that, the language is inappropriate. It's not acceptable. And I was surprised because that is not the man that I know. But my husband is real. He's raw. He tells it as it is. He's kind, he's a gentleman. He supports everybody.
The controversial comments. What sparked the lawsuit? During the episode, the hosts speculated about Melania's personal life, painting a picture of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. They questioned her role as First Lady, her public appearances, and even her private relationship with Donald Trump. One host claimed, she doesn't even want to be First Lady anymore, while another suggested that Melania and Donald sleep in separate bedrooms. If that wasn't enough, They brought up rumors about alleged infidelities during her pregnancy and implied that she was miserable in her marriage. Then came the infamous Christmas comment. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. According to the hosts, Melania didn't want to decorate or care about holiday traditions, sparking widespread reactions online. These comments crossed a line for Melania, who has always been fiercely protective of her privacy.
$1 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on?
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and it's nothing.
Just
there.
go for it.
Within days, she filed a lawsuit, claiming the statements were not only false but damaging to her reputation. The stakes. Why $200 million? Why such a massive number? According to Melania's legal team, the comments made by The View's hosts caused serious harm to her reputation, both personally and professionally. As a former First Lady, her image is closely tied to her brand. Whether she's promoting charitable causes or pursuing future endeavors, her reputation is her currency. By demanding $200 million, Melania is sending a message. She's not here for half-hearted apologies or retractions. This lawsuit is about holding people accountable for spreading misinformation about her private life. Her legal team argues that these comments weren't just casual banter. They were calculated, harmful, and intended to damage her credibility.
I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yeah.
Baby, he found Stormy to strip around with, right?
Yes.
It's like people should look at him and say, what kind of an insecure jerk are you? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, my wife's...
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to play this, but we decided we shouldn't play it. We don't want anybody to have any sort of way to get it down. The episode of you when you're on The View, when you were running for president.
Right. Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add president?
Joe Rogan enters the chat. As if this story wasn't already dramatic enough, Joe Rogan, the king of podcasts, decided to weigh in. Rogan called out The View for what he described as blatant hypocrisy. He reminded his audience that just a few years ago, Donald and Melania Trump were welcomed on the show with open arms. Back then, the hosts introduced Trump as our friend and greeted him with hugs and cheers. But once Trump entered politics, Rogan said, the tone shifted dramatically. If you average out the IQ of the hosts of The View, you might still struggle to hit triple digits, Rogan quipped, earning laughs and applause from his audience. He also criticized the show for prioritizing sensationalism over substance, calling it a rabies-infested henhouse. Ouch. But Rogan didn't stop there. He accused The View of pushing a calculated narrative for political reasons, suggesting their comments about Melania had less to do with facts and more to do with their dislike of her husband. The View's reputation, a history of controversy. This isn't the first time The View has found itself in hot water. Known for its fiery debates and viral soundbites, the show has long been a magnet for criticism. Whether it's clashes between the hosts or their outspoken takes on political issues, The View thrives on drama. But this lawsuit feels different. Melania isn't just another celebrity or politician. She's a former First Lady, and this legal battle could have far-reaching consequences for how shows like The View cover public figures. Critics of the show argue that it's become less about meaningful conversations and more about creating viral moments. This lawsuit might force The View to reconsider its approach or double down on its current strategy. The broader implications: free speech versus defamation. At the heart of this case lies a much bigger question. Where do we draw the line between free speech and defamation? Public figures like Melania Trump live under constant scrutiny. From tabloids to talk shows, their lives are dissected, analyzed, and often sensationalized. But does being in the public eye mean you have to accept false and damaging statements about your personal life? If Melania wins this case, it could set a precedent that changes the way media outlets discuss celebrities and politicians. Talk shows like The View might face stricter guidelines to avoid crossing into defamatory territory. On the flip side, some worry that a win for Melania could stifle free speech, making it harder for the media to hold public figures accountable. It's a delicate balance, and this case could tip the scales in a significant way. Timing and strategy. Is this a PR move? Some skeptics have questioned the timing of the lawsuit. With Donald Trump making headlines for his own legal battles, could this be a strategic move to redirect media attention? Melania has always been a relatively private figure, so her decision to file such a high-profile lawsuit is surprising. Whether it's frustration, strategy, or a bit of both, one thing is clear. She's not backing down. The public reaction. Divided opinions. As expected, the public's reaction to the lawsuit has been divided. Some people are applauding Melania for standing up to what they see as unfair and harmful attacks. They argue that the media often crosses the line when covering public figures, and it's time for someone to push back. Others, however, see the lawsuit as a publicity stunt or an attempt to silence criticism. They argue that public figures like Melania should expect a certain level of scrutiny, and that suing over comments made on a talk show is an overreaction. Big questions for the future. Regardless of which side you're on, this case raises some important questions. Should public figures have greater protection from defamatory statements? Does this lawsuit set a dangerous precedent for free speech? And where do we draw the line between criticism and defamation? These are questions that go beyond Melania Trump and The View. They touch on the very nature of fame, privacy, and media responsibility in the digital age. As this $200 million lawsuit unfolds, one thing is certain: the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about Melania and The View. It's about setting new standards for media accountability and how public figures are treated in the spotlight. So, what do you think? Is Melania right to fight back, or does this case go too far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Each subscription gets me one step closer to affording my next coffee. And trust me, with all this drama, I'm going to need a double shot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.